pollen of the southwestern wood lily. This flower is native to Nevada, but it's rare. Blood on the gun here is Sergeant Lip's, which means it was definitely used to strike him in the head.
Ray, where are we now with the Molina's case? I read Sergeant Lip's statement.
Well, Sergeant Lip isn't telling us the whole truth.
How do you know?
We recovered a gun at the crime scene, and wedged in the slide, we found a broken piece of the unit which records all the surveillance footage. Now, not only was that shard stuck in the gun, but it was also underneath some blood. Blood which turns out to belong to our very own Sergeant Lip. It means that little piece of plastic was in there before Sergeant Lip was struck in the head.
But according to Sergeant Lip, the assailant entered, presented him with ID, and then when the sergeant turned his back, the assailant knocked him out. You think he would have noticed the assailant smashing up surveillance equipment before he got knocked out?
You'd think so. You'd also think Sergeant Lip wouldn't turn his back on a guy like that, that maybe he'd even draw his own weapon. But for some reason, that's not how it went down.
Hello there, it's Doc Robbins down in the morgue. I've finished the autopsy on Manuel Molina's. So whenever you're ready, I'm available to review my findings with you. Nice to see you. How can I help? I found 2 bullet wounds, both potentially fatal, and both were consistent with the damage you'd expect from a small caliber hollow point. One bullet penetrated his heart practically dead center. It severed the pulmonary and aortic valves and lodged in the ventricular wall. That alone would have killed him. However, I also found what I believe was the first shot. It penetrated the frontal bone of his cranium, just above the glabella. Bullet obliterated his brain tissue in an expanding channel from the entrance wound. It then bounced off the back of his skull and continued its path of destruction until it came to rest in the cerebellum. Death was quick, if not painless.
Well, this wasn't a mercy killing. One to the head, one to the heart usually suggests a professional killer.
Neither slug was particularly difficult to extract. Here they are. Absolutely. I have a sample ready for you. Here. I found a glob of what looks like mucus on the victim's face. I collected some for you.
Someone spat on his face?
That's what it looks like. You see, the less viscous bits appeared to flow down the side of his face. So unless he was already lying on the floor when he was shot, it occurred post-mortem. Anytime.
It's confirmed. The gun from the crime scene is the murder weapon. Both bullets taken from the victim were fired from the same gun. Beatrice Salazar. She spat on Molina's corpse. I wonder if that was a message for him or for us. Catherine, you need to see this.
Is this right? You found Beatrice Salazar's DNA in the cell.
She shot Molina's and spat on his face.
Well, she wasn't about to have him try to testify against her, that's for sure. But why would she risk trying to kill him herself? That doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, she also held him responsible for having to kill her own son.
But even under normal circumstances, this would have been a suicide mission. Not a lot of guys are crazy enough to do something like that. Even the ones that work for her.
I think she's crazy enough now to do just about anything.
Well, that may be true, but maybe she wasn't taking as much of a risk as we think. Sergeant Lip described the assailant as a tall Hispanic male posing as an FBI agent. What do you really think the chances are that Beatrice Salazar has become a master of disguise?
I think we need to be very careful if you're suggesting Sergeant Lip may be involved here. I realize we have evidence that contradicts the sergeant's initial statement, but if we're going to pursue this, then we better make damn sure our evidence is unimpeachable. Keep me in the loop, Ray.
Jim, we've uncovered evidence which substantially contradicts Sergeant Lip's account of the shooting.
What evidence? What are you talking about? The guy was viciously attacked. His skull was almost busted in. I mean, it's not like he's going to have some photographic memory of exactly what happened. Beatrice Salazar? Oh my God. Look, we'll bring in Sergeant Lip to answer some more questions. But I know how these things have a way of going down, Ray. And I don't want us to throw a good cop under the bus just because this department needs a scapegoat.
What's going on here, Captain?
Just a few follow-up questions, Tim. We just need to document everything for the record.
No, like I said, tall, Hispanic male, wearing a business suit, approached me, showed me an FBI badge and ID. Look, do you need me to sit with a sketch artist? I can do that if it'll help.
We found Beatrice Salazar's DNA on Manuel Molinez's corpse.
Beatrice Salazar? What are you talking about?
Are you familiar with Beatrice Salazar?
I'm familiar with the FBI's most wanted list.
Are you sure you never saw Miss Salazar?
I told you what I saw. I guess it's possible she came in after I was out cold.
Tim, according to your statement, the assailant entered the jail, offered you an FBI ID, and when you turned around to process it, he struck you over the back of the head, rendering you unconscious. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It went down pretty fast.
You see this little piece of plastic? It comes from that unit which records all the footage from the surveillance cameras. We found it stuck inside the slide of the gun that struck you. Problem is, we found your blood on top of it. Not underneath, as you'd expect, if your statement were accurate. It looks as though the DVR was struck before you were.
I don't know how that could have happened. Wait, couldn't he have hit me more than once, like after I was out?
If you were struck more than once, we should be able to tell from the pattern of the bruising.
I don't know about that. I've had about enough of people touching my head today.
Sergeant Lip, let's not make this more complicated than it needs to be. If necessary, I'll get a warrant.
Damn it. Okay, do what you have to do.
This won't hurt at all. My partner just needs to take a picture. And that's it. Like I said, painless.
Yeah, thanks.
You know the drill, Sergeant. I want to be able to find you when we need you again.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going anywhere.
I only see evidence of a single wound. The bruising on Sergeant Lip's head is a perfect match to the shape of the murder weapon. That little divot there is right where the DVR shard was, and those ovals are consistent with the finger placement of someone holding the gun by the grip. There's something strange about the angle, though. The gun was upside down. To strike someone with a gun while you're holding it by the grip, you're either hitting with the butt, like a hammer, or with the side of the gun like you're swinging a haymaker punch or slapping someone. If Sergeant Lip was struck from behind like he says he was, then the gun would be right side up. Sergeant Lip did this to himself.
That's right. I had my back turned, and he hit me in the back of the head.
Here's the problem, Tim. You see those oval patterns right there? They indicate the gun that hit you was held by the grip. And if you were hit from behind, like you said,